Hi folks, welcome to MTS. Today we have a New York, Ontario, and Western 482 Mohawk steam engine that I picked up off eBay as another project. Description stated that it does not run. The box label says Protosounds 2.0, which I usually steer clear of as there are limited and more pricey repair options. This includes finding a good used Protosound 2 board set replacement or upgrading to Protosounds 3. I have found a higher successful repair rate on the MTH locomotives with Protosound 1. However, there is another more affordable option using a Williams Bachmann Reverse Board model number 00249. These can be found on Amazon and eBay. I've been able to find good used boards on eBay, sometimes for less than $30 after shipping and taxes. This may be a good candidate for this option.
Beautiful locomotive.
As with any eBay project, let's get this one over to the workbench.
Okay, first thing I notice is some wire. It's not run correctly, right? It's not supposed to come on the outside of that. I don't know if that's really going to be an issue, but we'll tidy that up. So, yeah, taking the shell off of this locomotive is not difficult at all. There's 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have to. So let's go ahead and get this shell off of here. The speaker's just kind of bouncing around inside of there. But we're going to find out. There are no electronics in it. Generally, when there's not a battery in it, means somebody's already been in here, so that's my concern.
Removing the locomotive shell shows someone already removed the Protosounds 2 board set. This saves time though, trying to diag the boards, and makes this a perfect candidate for a Williams Bachmann Reverse Board. First, let's test the motor. Using an AC to DC converter board, I'll attach to my CW80 transformer. Also going to set the locomotive on these test rollers. These allow the locomotive drivers to run freely in place while testing the motor.
We have power. Looks like positives on this side. Just a AC to DC converter. So these can motors are generally direct current only. So we just used a CW80 and a couple alligator clips to get power to the board. Then we have direct current coming out of the back that I can just tie in. Otherwise, if you just put alternating current to this, it'll go back and forth and act crazy. So we have a working motor. I'm assuming actually that the smoke unit works as well. So I can test that. Also doing the same type of procedure. But again, I think for this one, we're just going to put in a Williams reverse board, and maybe if I have a soundboard, I will get that in as well. I can't remember if I have one or not. If not, it'll just be a basic runner, right? So yeah, let me get some parts here and we'll go from there. All right, folks, so what we're going to do, this is the Williams reverse board. And it's already all set. Everything's good. It's ready to wire. The one thing that we'll have to do is actually utilize this plug. As you can see, there are no pickup rollers on the tender. So basically we're going to strip all this down. I'm going to just kind of keep that, and I am just opting to just make this a basic running locomotive. So there's not going to be any sounds, no whistle. So we're going to take all of this out, but I'm going to keep the tether plug and remove anything that we don't need. So basically all I need to do is get to where I've got power from the board going to the motor, and I'd like to have the headlight as well. The headlight is just the orange and blue wires here. They run all the way through here, so I'll probably just snip those, and we'll have to figure out which wires will feed the board, and then which wires will come back from the board to the motor. The smoke unit's going to come out. We're going to lose most of the wiring. I don't need this the sensor here anymore. So again, we're just going to get it to a basic operation locomotive. It'll have forward, neutral, and reverse with a headlight. We'll go ahead and start working on getting this all cleaned out and go from there. Okay, so first off, we're going to go ahead and remove the smoke unit. We won't need that. There's two screws that connect to this little bracket that actually is not only the smoke unit but also the headlight. So we're just going to make this easier for us. I'm going to go ahead and remove this pilot truck in the front. Easily access that bracket. Zoom in here. There's two screws that hold the smoke unit in place. Screws back. I'm just going to disconnect here and disconnect here. There we go. Smoke unit is out of play. Stick that in the parts bin. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put this headlight back in place because I want to be able to utilize the headlight. However, before we get to doing that, we're going to go ahead and get this voltage regulator off of here. Won't be needing that. Smoke fluid down here. We're going to clean that up a little bit. So here's our ground and our hot wires. Let's go ahead and undo these. Gotta figure out how these wires are gonna go, because again, all I need is just 4 wires total. I gotta have my hot and my ground, and then I have to have my positive and negative that go to my DC motor. I'll bring it right back. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna utilize, so we already have the white and yellow wires here that run to this plug. I'm going to cut these yellow and white wires. I'm going to desolder this, and I'm just going to solder the yellow back over here and the new white over here. That'll be my power to my motor. Then I'm going to utilize this red and black wire, which are right next to it. Then all of these are just going to be, we're not going to utilize them. They're just not going to be used at all. But we're going to utilize the red and the black, which run to what was the 9-volt battery. I'm going to wire that, the positive and negative from the roller pickups, direct into those, along with the headlight as well. So we'll have a headlight, power from the pickups that'll go to the umbilical, and then we're just going to do the same thing over on this side. I'm going to utilize, here's our yellow and white, and then there's our red and black. These are just I'm going to keep these wires here just to have them, I guess, but they're not going to be hooked up to anything. So those are the only 4 wires we're going to use, and that will make the connection here. So I'll have my roller pickup power from track to this cell that runs back to these, which I'll plug in red and black, and then I'll have yellow and yellow, and then blue it will go to the white, basically, and then that'll feed back to the motor. So that's the idea. Did you guys get all that? We're going to go ahead and remove the battery housing, the speaker, and the volume control. I don't need any of that. Plug that. Remove the zip tie. I've got an extra speaker now. Plenty of clearance. So what I think I'm going to do is actually mount it to where it goes on the inside. So that'll go into there. And I'll utilize one of those, and then that gives me plenty of room. Insulator washer, a plastic washer that goes right there, and just a small nut. What I'm doing is using my thumb to hold the nut in place, and then I'm just going to get that screw going. I can feel it tightening up on the other side. pliers because that nut is actually slipping. There we go, that's nice and snug. I'm thinking we may not. So what I'm going to have to do, I can already see how this steps down right here. That's going to hit that part of the thing. So what I need to do is actually rotate this, what is that, 180 degrees, to where I'll have the clearance on this side of the tender shell. See, it's going to be a compound. I'm going to have to actually move that as well. One more spot. You'll see what I'm saying here in just a second. Just bear with me. So where you can see, I utilized the second screw hole for where that battery compartment was. I'm going to move that up to that next hole in the middle. And again, I just want to utilize this existing screw holes if I can. Good thing is we can actually bend that in if we need to just a little bit, but I think that's going to be our play. Okay. There we go. So we have proper clearance. We can go ahead and start getting everything wired and go from there. Okay, zoom in. There we go. We're going to go ahead and get these two wires clipped off. We'll give ourselves a little bit of extra slack here. We're just going to tie these into the ground in the hut. When we have track power. Red to red, black to black. We'll go ahead and remove the yellow and the white wire. Just make sure we got plenty of slack, and I think if we just cut it right there, we'll have plenty of slack. There we go. And then that's just going to we're going to tidy that up and just stick it in there somehow or another, just where it just sits. But we're not going to utilize any of those wires. Okay, go in here, we get that out. yellow wire went over here. See if I can wrap that around somehow or another. I'm missing. It looks like the tabs have broken off, so it makes it for a little bit more difficulty, but we should be able to figure this out. There we go. And again, we're going to solder these connections in here as well. I'll still put the wire nut on there, but this just kind of gives me a little extra security. Alright, scooting it back out. Here's our tether. We're just going to go ahead and give myself a little bit of extra slack. There's my red and my black wires. And then here are my yellow and white wires. There we go. And I'm going to solder these connections here in a minute. Actually, there's a lot of slack on here. Let's get these trimmed down here real quick. Throw it out of the way. Alright. Red to red. Black to black. Blue to white. And yellow to yellow. a little bit. There we go. Okay, here we go. So we're going to ensure that we don't have, I've got the tether plugged in. None of the wires are touching. And we're just going to do a quick test. We should see the headlight come on and have some movement. Neutral. Reverse. Neutral. Forward. There we go. I'm going to tidy all these wires up and we'll get it on the layout, get it all back together. You're really not going to miss anything there. And if something happens, I'll bring you back. Otherwise, I'll see you at the layout.
Here, just covered the old Protosound plug with large diameter heat shrink tubing. This is where I soldered each connecting wire from the board to the tether. Now, let's say you want to have the train sounds from the steam locomotive. You can go about this two ways. You can add the Williams True Blast sound card for steam with the speaker, or you can opt to do this. So this is a boxcar made by Lionel, and it's got the steam sounds already in it. Number there is 26860. I actually picked this up from my local hobby shop. So here we're going to build a train using this boxcar and see what it sounds like. In closing, we successfully installed a Williams Bachmann 00249 reverse board in this Rail King locomotive that had the boards completely removed, using the existing tether from the tender. Even added some train sounds using Lionel's B&O boxcar with steam train sounds. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the line.